Welcome to Breaking Bread with Joby and Heather. This week's episode is brought to you by Westwood Barbecue. Established in 1969 and locally owned and operated by Ron Lucas and family, a local staple in Hartsville, South Carolina that you don't want to miss. Located at 604 West Bobo Newsom Highway and opened Thursday through Saturday from 11 until 8 and Sunday from 11 to 2. You can order from the menu, grab a plate off of the buffet, order in bulk, and they even cater.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Breaking Bread with Joby and Heather. I'm Heather.
And I'm Joby. Let me just say, today's episode is right on time because we're talking about New Year's resolutions, which is, ruh-roh. Everyone suddenly believes they're going to wake up January 1st as a brand new person.
Right? Like we go to bed on December 31st and magically, poof, we become motivated, organized, skinny, kind, patient, and boom, debt-free by morning, if only.
I mean, we got good intentions, right?
Right.
We're not hating on you. We're just calling out the real. If midnight could do that, I would set 50 alarms.
But really, we want to talk to you about how to approach this new year with something deeper than the usual new year, new me. Because honestly, it's really new year, same God. So let's talk about the classic resolution cycle. We start off strong. We buy the planner. We color code the goals.
Guilty.
We meal prep. We pray harder. We promise ourselves, hey, this is going to be my year.
And then about 3 weeks in, the planner is probably in the back of my truck somewhere under the pile of mail. I never meal prep, but the meal prep containers once upon a time are still hidden in the back of the cupboard. And we're like, well, February is technically still the beginning of the year, right?
Right.
I'm so guilty of that.
Right.
Like, okay, Lord, I need another week.
Well,
I needed a couple more days.
We can still start over. It's still the beginning of the year.
How about this one? If you're on break after Christmas or have some days off, it's like, okay, I have another week of vacation. You know, just a couple more days. I'm going to extend it.
I've still got time. You ever make resolutions, Joby, that are so big, you even know you're lying to yourself?
Heck yeah. Because I once said, this year, it actually crossed my mind. There is a 5K that Charlie sponsors every year.
I'm sorry. That just makes me laugh already.
I know, me too. Because I told you the only running I do is running late. I told somebody the other day, I was like, I couldn't run if somebody was chasing me. I'd just like fall down and trip them and hope they broke their neck.
Like, have at it, dude. Whatever.
But somebody asked me if I was going to run the marathon. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
But then it's like, I was like, yeah, I might do it. And I didn't mean to intentionally lie. But, you know, I was like, yeah, I might do it.
Might not.
Yeah, probably not. I'm not running anywhere.
Right.
I'm not running to the mailbox. I'm not running. No. No.
Right.
Yeah.
See, we make these huge, sometimes very unrealistic goals, and then we feel bad because we can't sustain them.
Well, that one wasn't even on the same planet with me. And that's because really when we think about resolutions, if I think about, am I going to run? Am I going to, try to do this? I'm thinking about it in my own strength. No, we have to be honest because our strength will burn out really quick.
Right. But God's strength, it doesn't run out.
No.
Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Not through motivation, not through the iced coffees I drink all day long, not through hype.
Through Christ.
Yes. Something I realized a few years back was that half of the resolutions I made weren't things God wanted for me. They were things society pressured me into fixing.
That's real talk because it's things we want or things the world influences us heavily on. Be thinner, be richer, be more disciplined, be more productive, be more impressive. The list can go on and on and on. I really would love for organization to come a little bit more naturally for me.
Yeah.
I have to make an effort. Seriously.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because I know you.
I mean,
I
it worked.
prayed that for you, Joby.
Thank you. Thank you. And maybe that was the week it felt a little bit more together, so don't stop.
Right?
But then I go on vacation and it looks like I've lived out of my vehicle for a week, and then I feel like I'm right back at square one again.
Right. And God says, be still, be faithful, be loving, be patient, be available.
And my ADD is still there and it's still kicking. No, I'm kidding. There's a big difference between God-led change and self-imposed pressure.
Right? I used to make these wild goals like I'm going to wake up at 4:30 and pray every morning.
Okay, you laughing at me. I ain't getting up at 4:30.
I do get up at 4:30 to go to the gym.
I would get up at 4:30 to go to the bathroom.
Well, that's why I get up at 4:30 to go to the gym, because I'm like, dude, I'm already up. I might as well go.
So seriously, how long did that last? Getting up at 4:30 to pray?
Not very long. I know that's bad. As long as it took for me to turn the alarm off and go back to bed. But what I learned is God wasn't asking me to be perfect. He is asking me to be present.
Right. And I think God would bless your effort. You make the effort. And sometimes we're chasing results God has never asked us to chase.
Right?
So what if we flipped it this year? Instead of writing our resolutions and asking God to bless them,
We ask God what He wants for us. Then write that down.
so Psalms 37:5 says, commit your way to the Lord, trust in Him, and He will act.
Notice it doesn't say create your own way and then ask God to co-sign.
It says commit your way to Him, meaning let Him lead, and guess who follows?
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes God gives you a word for the year, like peace or discipline, trust, or gratitude.
Yep.
And that one word becomes the theme He works on in your life.
Yeah, and sometimes His focus is internal when we want external. Like He told me, be still and know. Everything on the outside wasn't still. And I can't tell you everything on the inside was getting still either.
Yeah.
But it's the process. You have to learn. You have to keep going back to that. Be still, be still, be still, be still and know. Be still and know. You have to follow the leading of the Holy Spirit. And that right there in itself is a part of discipline. You learn discipline.
We'll return right after this short break. A huge thank you to the sponsors that help us bring Breaking Bread straight to you. Sissy's Children's Boutique, located in downtown Hartsville, South Carolina, at 136 East Mantissa Row, is your one-stop shop for darling outfits, accessories, and all the cutest fashions for your little ones. Owned by Karen Lucas, Hannah Breeden, and Megan Young, Sissy's is packed with adorable outfits and accessories. Come shop local at Sissy's.
Looking for a new car? Great. Call Eric Johnson at Florence Toyota in Florence, South Carolina. Eric has sold hundreds of vehicles and wants to help put you in your next ride. Give him a call at 843-669-1676. Be sure and tell him the girls from Breaking Bread sent you. Superior Auto Glass is a reputable auto glass repair and replacement company based in South Carolina. Specializing in servicing vehicles of all makes and models, they offer professional and efficient solutions for damaged windshields. They are a proud family and veteran-owned company and completely mobile. Call Chris for all of your windshield needs here in South Carolina at 843-245-2320.
But even in that wildness, with all that chaos around you, God is still.
Yeah.
And yes, we're like, Lord, help me lose 15 pounds. Check that box. Hello, that's me.
Feel better about yourself. Yep.
And God's like, lose that bitterness first.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we'll find ourselves saying, God, give me better finances. And He says, hey, let's fix your spending habits and your heart posture first. See, that one right there is a nail on the head for me because, I love some deals. I love yard sales
Yeah.
and thrifting and talking about in church today where the pastor was like, "Where's your treasures?" And my mind went to yard sales.
Sorry. You do love a yard
I do,
sale.
and I had
You
coming up
do.
this year. I'm gonna have to start letting some.
Yeah.
Treasures.
I'm going to go up in your attic and I'm going to have a yard sale for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to start letting
But the
somebody else
thing is,
find them.
you can't buy your own stuff back, Joby. Okay.
I know.
We're like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even remember I had that.
Yep. Guilty.
God works from the inside out. Resolutions usually work from the outside in.
Yeah, we'll have to sit and meditate on that one a little bit.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. Progress, not perfection, because we are so hard on ourselves when we slip up.
Heck yeah. You miss if you miss one day, you think the whole year's ruined.
Yep.
Like
Like,
you-
oh, well, I'm done. I don't have to go back to the gym now.
Yeah, you go back and eat that cheesecake. It's like, all right, day 364. Let's just eat cheesecake the rest of the year.
Right. I've lost 5 pounds since I started back to the gym, and I just knew you were going to come out and be like, hey, girl, you want a piece of cheesecake? And I'd be like,
Well, when I walked inside, Charlie had a whole box.
oh, God, don't even tell me
and,
that.
and I grabbed the Cheetos instead.
But Proverbs 24:16 says, though the righteousness fall 7 times, they rise again.
Yeah. Falling isn't the enemy. It even says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and though he shall stumble. So failing isn't the enemy. Failing to get back up is.
Right. Exactly. God is a God of grace,
Yes.
not guilt trips.
Yep. And there are years God doesn't want you to run. He wants you to learn to rest. Just like I told you, he's told me, be still.
Right.
Sometimes I have to literally sit on my hands to be still. It says to be still and know. And God works like this. He says, be still and know, when he's really saying, I want you to know how to be still.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, sit down
Yep.
and just listen to me. Just sit. I'm telling you, just sit and listen to me.
And don't say nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
There are years he doesn't want you to build.
Yep.
He wants you to heal.
And sometimes there are years he doesn't want you to hustle. He wants you to realign.
Nice.
Add that word too.
Yep. Sometimes your only job is to keep showing up, even if it's messy, even if it's slow, even if it doesn't look quite impressive.
And sometimes it'll feel like it's going to wear you out to keep showing up and showing up and showing up. But consistency is going to beat intensity every time. He doesn't tell us it's not going to be hard.
Right.
But being consistent builds stamina, and that's faith. That's being faithful. Faith is a muscle, and you're not going to build muscle if you don't work it, right?
Mm-hmm. Here's something people don't talk about enough. Sometimes God interrupts your resolutions.
Sometimes God wrecks them. Absolutely.
You ever make a plan and God goes, cute, but no.
Yeah, can you imagine cute and no, not happening. Absolutely.
I've learned that interruptions are also invitations.
And even though God's plan may not match our fancy, beautiful planner, it's always, God's plan's always going to match our purpose, his purpose for us.
Right. Sometimes the very thing that feels like a setback is God's positioning you for a comeback.
Mm-hmm. And that's why we hold our goals loosely, and we have to learn to hold on to God tightly.
Right. So let's get practical. How do we actually make resolutions to honor God?
Okay, so, well, we have to pray before planning.
Okay.
You have to actually ask God for a theme or a word of the year. Write goals that align with that scripture. And when you write the goals, you have to set realistic, grace-filled expectations.
That's hard.
So mine was alignment. one year. So coming into alignment. So God had to begin showing me places that were out of alignment. Okay, you can't run before you learn to sit, right? So God had to take me all through that process, and I had to learn to sit. And this is still a work in progress. This is not done by any means, but sit, stand, and then walk. And you check in with God on a regular basis, not just each January.
Right.
You also celebrate the small wins.
I love number 6. We forget how holy small steps are.
Yep. He didn't say run the whole race and expect perfection. He simply says, follow me.
Yeah.
And in following him, it doesn't mean we're not going to stumble. It doesn't mean we're not going to hit our big toe. It doesn't mean we're not maybe have some hesitation. You ever read in the Bible and you see how it looks like these warriors of faith? You see the beginning of a story, the middle of a story, the end of a story, and you see how it all comes together. Do you ever get in there and think what's going through their minds?
Yeah.
You know, like when you took little David, who killed big old Goliath,
Right.
he took that little rock, spun it around a couple of times, and smacked him right in the head. You know, or Moses, when God told him, you're going to be a father of nations, and he didn't have any children. Wasn't Abraham? Yeah. When he told him, he said, you're going to be a father of nations, but he didn't have any children in sight. You ever sit there and wonder what's going through their mind? You know, what their emotions were like, what they were feeling, what they were thinking? I do.
All right. It's time for our listener challenge of the week.
So before you write any New Year's resolutions, take 10 quiet minutes and ask God, what do you want to grow in me this year?
That's a good one. Then write it down. Put it somewhere you'll see it every day. Your bathroom mirror, dashboard, nightstand.
And here's part 2. Share your word or focus with a friend who will encourage you and walk with you through it.
That's good, because growth happens together.
Thank you for joining us today on Breaking Bread with Joby and Heather.
If this episode encouraged you, share it with someone who's stressing out about resolutions or feeling the pressure to be perfect this coming year.
And remember, this year doesn't need a brand new you.
It just needs a you who's willing to grow with the same faithful God.
Happy New Year!
And that wraps up this episode of Breaking Bread. Joby and Heather, thank you for listening, supporting, and sharing our podcast. We wish you and your family a happy, healthy, safe, and prosperous new year. See you here, same time, same place, next week.